Hello once again, dear student. I welcome you again to this subject, Social Studies, in Standard 8. Now, in Standard 8, just as you are aware, it's a subject, Social Studies, that looks at the different aspects that affect our society. Now, last time, if you remember, we were looking at unit number 9. On unit number 9, we looked at the Roman civilization. The Roman civilization. In that unit, we looked at a number of issues: location of the Roman civilization, factors for the rise, factors for the decline, the contributions, the things that we're using now that were started by the Romans. Those are the contributions. So we looked at that good lesson. But today we are on unit number 10, and in unit number 10 we are looking at the human rights. The human rights. But take note, here it's unit number 10, part 1. Why part 1? Simply because the topic is long. So we cannot cover all aspects just in one lesson. So that's why I have split it into 2. So when you cover human rights part 1, there is also human rights part 2. So take note of this. When you look at part 1, check out for part 2 as well. Now, here, let me take you through the topics or the units. I'm here to remind you so that you should not forget. Sometimes you are tempted to move around, to sleep too much, to relax too much as if you don't have work. So this is the work that you have. So this is only the work for social studies. What about agriculture? What about other subjects? Science, expressive arts, BK, mathematics, English. So you can see with this work and all other subjects, you don't have time to waste. You don't have time to sleep too much. So you need to work hard, cover these topics as you are still in Standard 8. Because once you miss out, they will come during exams, and you miss out on exams, then it won't be well for you to repeat the Standard 8. So follow through all these issues. Let us look at human rights, the human rights. Basically, this topic, human rights, I know you know it already. You know it already. The privileges that someone is born with, that someone is born with the privileges. What are these privileges? So they are the things that we are going to remind each other. I understand in Standard 5 there was that. In Standard 6 there was that. In Standard 7 there was also that aspect of human rights. But in Standard 8 we are going to go deeper, a little bit deeper. That's why this unit has been divided into 2. So let's look at these human rights. So human rights are classified into 3 types. And what are these 3 types of human rights? So we have number 1, the civil and political rights. The civil and political rights. Number 2, we have social, economic, and cultural rights. That is number 2. Social, economic, and cultural rights. So those are the rights. Now, number 3, environmental and development rights. Environmental and development rights. So these are the 3 categories or 3 classes of human rights: civil and political rights, socio-economic and cultural rights, environmental and development rights. So remember these 3 rights. So here we're going to look at a detail of these things. What are they? So let's begin with the civil rights, civil and political rights. When we talk of the civil and political rights, they are called liberty-oriented rights, and they enable someone to, number 1, think and have access to information. Number 2, act and choose to do what to do. Number 3, join in political life of their society. here we are talking of the civil and political rights. Civil and political rights. So we are saying that number one, they are liberty. Basically, they are liberty-oriented rights. What do we mean? They are freedom rights, free rights, rights that are connected with freedom. So someone is free to think and have access to information. You are free to think of anything and have access to information, or you can have information of anything. You have right to that. And also you have the right to act and choose what to do. As you can choose to stop listening to this video. You can choose never to again listen to these things. You have a right, you see? Yeah. So you have the right to choose what to do. And also join a political life of the society. You have the right to join any political society, political life of the society. That's why we hear some people say, we belong to party, this party, others, we belong to this party, like that. Those are the rights. So people should not hate each other because someone belongs to the other party. Someone belongs to a different party than you, then you start fighting. Hey, look at them. No. Everyone has got a right to choose what to join and what to do. So what are these rights? What are these rights? The civil rights. Right to life. You have right to life. You have right to not to be tortured, so you cannot be tortured. And the right to liberty and the security of a person. You are free to have freedom and to be secured. You are also you have the right to privacy. You have the right to do your own things that you yourself only knows. So you have the right. And also you have the right to marry and found a family. So you have the right to marry and find a family. So everyone has got that right. And also right to a nationality and change of one's nationality. You have the right today to say, I am going to Zambia and I'll get the Zambian nationality. You have the right to change that nationality. You have that right. And also you have freedom of expression. You are free to express what is in your heart. And also the right to assembly and association. So you also have the right to join any group that you want. So that's why sometimes when advice is given to say, all right, much as you have the right to join that group, but look at that group that you are going with. Oh, your friends are not good. Do you expect you are going to be the only one to be good? So that's why those are just advice. It's just an advice. But you yourself, you have the right to join any group that you want. We have looked at the civil rights. Now let's look at the economic and cultural rights. Economic and cultural rights. So these ones, they are about security. How secured are you? So that is it, economic and cultural rights. Number one, we are saying that these rights enable an individual to participate in the social, economic, and cultural activities of the community. Here, what we are saying is that as a person belonging to a society, you also have the right to participate in any grouping of the society. Socio-economic activities of the society. You are free to join Maripenga dance. You are free to join any dance that you want to join. You are free to join any developmental aspect that happens in your community. You are free to participate in developmental issues in your society. For example, they say, oh, in our community we need a school, therefore we need to mold bricks. You have the right to join that one because it's a socio-economic right and cultural right that you have. And also these rights, they concern how people live and work together to access basic needs such as food, shelter, healthcare, and cultural practices. So these socio-economic rights, they are all about security of the society. People living together, supporting each other so that as a community, they have good life together. They have food together. They have shelter together. So what can you benefit, for example, if, for example, in the whole community, you are the only one with the house with the iron sheets and a decent house, but all other people are poor, are really struggling. You cannot enjoy a life in that way. But when you see your friend also prospering like you, like that, people competing in the society, then things are moving on very well. So that is about security, to say, all right, you do well, I do well, then we grow together. Those are the socio-economic and cultural rights. Let's look at the examples. What are the examples of these social rights? Number one, right to privacy. You have the right to privacy, to do your own things, to do your own things that will benefit you and others as well. Also, the right to education. You have the right to be educated. That's why you have to go to school. You have to go to school in your society. So that is your right. And also the right to healthy care. You have the right to health. You have the right to good health. So you have to be cared for. So what are the examples of economic rights? Let's look at the examples of economic rights. So the right to choose one's work, including self-employment. As a person, you can decide today to say, right, starting from today, I'll start growing tomatoes. Therefore, I'll have a garden. I'll concentrate my work on that one. It is you who has thought about that. Then it is you who is going to do that. Therefore, you have the right to self-employment. You have the right to work. You have the right to work. You also have the right to form and join union and business association. You also have the right to join any business association. For example, I give an example to say, you start maybe growing tomatoes, you have started producing tomatoes, and there are other people who are doing the same. You have the right to make an association of tomato growers in that community. It is your right. No one can forbid you not to do that. Now, let us look at the environmental and developmental rights. Environmental and developmental rights. We have looked at the civil rights, social and economic, cultural rights. We have looked at all those things. But now, let us look at the environmental rights. So these rights entitle people to live in a safe and healthy environment. So these rights, they are about protecting people to live in a safe and protected or healthy environment. Now, environmental rights, they include a number of them. They are about two. Number one, right to clean water, right to access water. You need to have access to water. You need to have access to clean water. That's why, because of this, you find that organizations, even the government, is making sure that everyone has got right to clean and safe water. You have access to water. You have access again to clean water, so that no one suffers because of the environment. So we see that. Let us look at the developmental rights. These ones, they are the right to political, economic, and cultural advancement. When we talk of developmental rights, these ones now we talk of political, economic, and cultural. The things like in politics, the things in economics, in business and whatever, and in cultural, the community where we live, those things, they enable people to develop. We develop culturally, economically, politically, in that way. So those are the rights that people have in politics, in economics, and in culture. So you have those rights because they are developmental rights. Now, here we have to look at the responsibilities. We have talked about the rights. You have the right to this, but are you responsible for something else? So, responsibilities when exercising one's right. Things that you need to consider when you know for sure that you have the right to education, you have the right to access to information, you have the right to clean water, you have the right to whatever. But what can you do? What is your duty in exercising these rights? Number one is respecting oneself. You need to respect yourself in everything. Because you have the rights, it doesn't mean that you disrespect yourself. No. You need to respect yourself, and you need to respect elders. Respecting elders. Other people, the elders. No matter elders, some elders, they may look like cheap, they may look like useless, they may look like they are not wise, but because they are older than you, you need to respect elders. Therefore, you really have the responsibility in exercising your rights. Because you have right to shelter, you have the right to your home. You cannot laugh at someone who is not having a home. So that one maybe is an elder to you. Then you say, look at that one. You are just drinking beer, what? No. You need to respect elders. And obeying the laws, your responsibilities, our responsibility when exercising our rights is to respect the laws. We have to respect the laws, to say, what does the law say? Yes, you can exercise your rights when you are within the law. When you are outside the law, then chaos and disorder may be there. So to avoid chaos and disorder, you have to obey the law when exercising the rights. And also, participating in development activities. It is your responsibility to participate in developmental activities. For example, in the society, maybe the village headman has called for a meeting to discuss issues pertaining, maybe you want a clinic in your society. Then you say, I will not go there because I have my things to do. They will discuss, then we will get that. Then they discuss, they agree that each one has to contribute 5,000 kwacha. Then you say, no, that's too much money. I will not do that. I can't do that. No. You have the right, the responsibility to participate in developmental activities in the society. Then that one is a responsible person who is practicing his human rights very well. And also respecting governments and other people's property. Respecting governments and other people's properties. The government makes sure that it puts properties for the protection of its citizens. For example, in the roads, you find that there are the signposts that are there. You find that each time you pass the road, you beat that signpost, you stone that signpost, breaking the glasses or whatever, because it is a government thing. No. It is the responsibility of every citizen to protect or to respect government's property, whether be it at hospital, at police, be it in school, anywhere, at the market, anywhere where we see government's property. We have the responsibility to take care, to respect that this is government's property. And other people's property as well. You are passing by somebody's groundnuts field. You say, no, I am hungry. Let me just have some groundnuts. No, respect somebody's property. If it is not yours, respect it because it belongs to someone else. And also, the last one is taking care of the environment for the present and future use. Taking care of the environment for the present and future use. You also have the responsibility to take care of the environment. The environment assists us in the present and in the future. You cut down the trees without replacing them. So today, yes, you are assisted by those trees. But what about tomorrow? You need also the trees to assist you. So you take care of the environment. Take care of the things. Much as the environment, we cannot live without the environment. We depend on the environment. Then you need to take care of the environment. So you have the responsibility of taking care of the environment to assist you today and tomorrow. So for today and for future use. Now, to this far, we have come to the end of this this unit. Remember, I said that this unit has got two parts, part 1 and part 2. So part 1, we have come to the end. But before we continue to part 2, let us now have this exercise. So pause a little bit and copy these questions. Copy these questions, understand the questions, and try to answer them by your own handwriting. Write them, even if you know the answer. Don't just say, I know this. No. Write the answer, because you'll be tested by writing. Many will not test inside your head to say, all right, you know this, or we see. No, they will see where you have written. So that's why always I say that whenever you see a test like this, pause, then copy the questions, then answer them in a good handwriting. Then that is good for you. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to continue with part 2, human rights part 2. And in this part 2, we're going to look at the rights of special groups of people. The rights of special groups of people. You know, we are different. There are special groups of people. Women, elders, the young, the disabled, all those. So we all have the rights. So what are the rights of different groups of people? So we're going to look at that wonderful part, still on human rights, that is Unit 10, Part 2. So be there next time, and until next time, thank you for your attention.